Y'all, this is so good. I'm reading John chapter 11 and looking at the story of Lazarus and seeing what happened in that situation explains why your situation ain't getting better and why your situation is getting worse. The Lord wants to use your life to be able to be a testimony for others. It's not just about you. I want you to see this if your situation is real bad. Look at this. Lazarus, uh, chapter 11, the book of John. It says in verse 4, when he heard of this being Lazarus being sick to the point of death, he said, this sickness will not end in death. No, it is for God's glory, so that God's Son may be glorified through it. It will not end in death. Lazarus died. Yeah, he was in that tomb 3-4 days to the point where he had an odor. But that wasn't the end. In the end, it would not be death. See, God had a plan. Your story might look like it's over. The love that you could possibly experience may be over. Maybe there was a divorce. Maybe somebody walked away. Maybe you lost a job. Maybe you see no hope to have a job in which you can be fulfilled. Right? Maybe your finances is being drained. Maybe there's demand all over the place. You see, stuff is dying and it may be dead, but the Lord tells you today it's not going to end in death. I love this part. This is amazing. This is verse 21, where Martha says, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. But I know that even now, God will give you whatever you want. And Jesus said to her, your brother will live again. And Martha says, no, I know he will rise again in the resurrection at the last day. And look what Jesus said. Oh, it's so hard. I am the resurrection and the life. Do you believe that Jesus is the resurrection? Do you believe that the Lord can resurrect things in your life? But first, he needs them to be dead. He needs them to be good and dead. But do you trust him to resurrect? Do you trust him that he can have you prophesy to your dry bones? See, you speaking death over everything in your life. You doing this, woe is me. What is that? An example of the gospel, an example of the life, the resurrection that is Jesus Christ. He is doing something in this. You gotta trust him. I want you to look, and he says with this, but Lord, said Martha, right? Martha says, the sister of the dead man. The Bible is clear to say, by this time there is a bad odor, for he has been there 4 days. Jesus said, did I not tell you that if you believe, listen to this, if you believe, you will see the glory of God. So I want to ask you today, do you believe that you will see the glory of God? Do you believe that God will show up in your life? Because when he gets up, Jesus says, takes off his grave clothes and let him go. Therefore, many of the Jews who had come to visit Mary had seen what Jesus did and what? Believed in him. Yeah. It wasn't just about bringing Lazarus back from the dead, y'all. It wasn't about doing something for Martha and Mary and teaching them. Everybody that was around now believed. But I want you to also go down a little bit further in verse 651, where they talked about the high priest, and they're talking about him needing to die because that year he prophesied that Jesus would die for the Jewish nation, right? So they're plotting to kill him. In fact, Jesus after that couldn't move anymore publicly, right, amongst the people in that region. But this was also to fulfill the prophecy that Jesus would again die, right? Because upon seeing this great miracle take place, oh, yeah, he made people nervous. He shook people up. They said, oh, no, we got to get rid of him, right? It's important that one person dies, then a whole nation perish, because Romans would come and take away their temple and their nation. So they thought Jesus would create such an uproar that he would be a threat and bring the threat against them to their doorstep. So they said it's better that one man die than a whole nation perish. So it needed to move him in such a way to move others to fulfill the prophecy that was declared on the life of Jesus. Jesus was doing so much in this act. You got to trust the Lord. You don't understand what he's doing, but trust he's doing something in it. Trust there's purpose in it. Know the great God that you serve. Know who he is. Know what he's capable of. Know that he ain't worried, so he wants you not to be worried either. You see, the Lord's yoke is easy. His burden is light. He wants you to rest in him. See, you can only experience that if you stop worrying, if you put your trust and faith in God, if you take your hands off of the situation, and if you rest in him. See, you can only rest in the presence of others when you could trust them, when you could trust they got it, when you could trust they good. Oh yeah, then you could fall asleep. You got to trust God. You got to trust that he got your situation, that he know what he doing in it. Then you can rest. Then you could take a step back. You can have that ease. You can have that lightness, because you could say, God's got it. God's doing something in this. I just need to stay connected to him. Yeah, keep praying. Keep talking to the Lord. Keep your relationship with him strong. Stay close to him, and he'll reveal to you what he's doing. Yeah, he'll let you know the situation ain't dead. Yeah, Lazarus, he's only sleeping. His disciples said, hey, if he's sleeping, he'll get better. They didn't understand he was talking about his death. So I want you to know that God has purpose in what he's doing in your life. He is using your life, not just for you, but so that others will believe. Just trust in him. Take your hands off of it. Take a step back and find your rest in him. He's got it.